Hey everyone, we've got a special news brief for you today. A really significant new funding initiative has just been announced, and it's all about that critical intersection of artificial intelligence and youth well-being. So let's get right to the headline number, €500,000. Yep, that's right. This is a brand new fund set up specifically to tackle one of the most important challenges we're facing today, how to keep young people safe in the age of AI. So what's this €500,000 fund actually for? Well, you can think of it as the engine for a brand new funding program. And its mission? It's crystal clear: to improve the safety and well-being of young people in a world that's being shaped by AI more and more every single day. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the context here. Why this grant and why right now? The timing on this is absolutely critical, and it really all boils down to the fact that the need for effective AI safety measures for young people is growing fast. And look, this isn't about some distant, far-off future. This quote really nails it. The main message here is that AI is already a central part of how young people learn, how they create, and how they talk to each other. So the need to actively make sure this tech is not just beneficial, but fundamentally safe is right here, right now. So how is this whole initiative going to tackle that challenge? Well, it's broken down into four main goals. First up, to deepen our collective understanding of what AI's real-world benefits actually look like. Second, to really put the safeguards we have to the test and, make them better. Third, and this is a big one, to get funding into the hands of organizations that are already doing this vital work so they can expand their impact. And finally, to build a kind of collaborative bridge between the researchers, the nonprofits, and the people who are actually building the AI in the first place. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Now we're going to break down who exactly is eligible for this funding and what kinds of projects they're really looking to support. Okay, so the funding is split into two pretty distinct tracks. On one side, you've got the NGOs, the organizations on the front lines. For them, proposals should be focused on things like youth protection programs, AI literacy initiatives, and developing practical tools to respond to risks. Then, on the other side, you have the research organizations. The focus there is more on academic studies, things like AI in education, child safety research, and formal evaluations of the AI safeguards we already have in place. Now, let's talk about the non-negotiables. There are three core requirements you have to meet. First off, your organization must be an operational NGO or a research institution that's legally based in the EMEA region. That's Europe, the Middle East, or Africa. Second, your work has to be all about youth safety, well-being, or the impact of AI on minors. And third, you've got to show you have the capacity to actually deliver your project, both ethically and on schedule. So how are the applications actually going to be judged? Well, you can think of this table as the official scorecard. Being based in EMEA is, of course, mandatory. But after that, you'll see four criteria that all carry a high weighting: how well you align with the program's goals, your potential for real impact and scalability, the rigor of your methods and your ethics, and just the overall feasibility of your plan. They'll also be looking at sustainability and how your work could be amplified, and that's got a medium weight. All right, for anyone out there thinking about applying, listen up. Here is the playbook, all the key dates and the process you're going to need to follow. You're going to want to mark your calendars for this. The application window officially opens on January 28th, 2026, and you'll have exactly 1 month to get your submission in because that portal closes on February 27th. From there, the goal is to get the funded projects up and running in the second or third quarter of 2026. So what does a complete application actually look like? Well, they're looking for a really focused package. You'll need a detailed proposal, but here's the catch. It's got a strict 500-word limit. Along with that, you'll need a detailed budget, your team's CVs, a super clear ethics and data handling plan, and finally, any letters of support you think will strengthen your case. So you hit submit. What happens next? Well, your application goes through a 4-stage review process. It all starts with an initial screening, just to make sure everything's complete and eligible. From there, it moves to a council review, where they look at the technical and ethical fit. That's followed by final approvals, and then the last step: awarding the grant and activating the project. Okay, the big question: what kind of funding can an organization actually expect to get? This chart shows you the typical range. Most of the grants are going to fall somewhere between 25,000 and 100,000 euros. But it is really important to note, they've said they are open to considering larger, multi-year awards for more ambitious programs or big partnerships. All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture here. Because beyond the individual grants, the ultimate goal is so much bigger. It's about proactively shaping the future of AI for an entire generation. So, what's the endgame? It's really about funding both practical, hands-on work and independent research. The idea is to give everyone, parents, teachers, policymakers, you name it, a much, much clearer picture of what safe and responsible AI actually looks like out there in the real world. And let's be clear, this isn't about funding academic work that just ends up sitting on a shelf somewhere. No way. The program is explicitly designed to produce clear, usable stuff. They want to fund the creation of toolkits, reports, and policy briefs, tangible resources that other people can actually use, learn from, and build on. And all of this really boils down to one final essential question that this whole grant is designed to help answer. How do we build a world where the next generation doesn't just use AI, but actually thrives with it? This grant, it's a huge step toward finding that answer.